I mean, nothing showing yet for that side. How to improve your recovery in Smash Ultimate? Don't play Ganon. Alright, we're actually going to be talking about that factor as well. Wait,
Hello?
Alright, audio test, audio test. How loud are we? Can you hear us?
Hello? Am I supposed to be able to hear myself?
You should.
I do not hear anything from the speaker, from these earphones. Wait, give me a second. I need to give something. Jeff, you retard.
You just call him retard, Dad?
Oh my god! Thank you! Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Oh my god! You poo-pooed your last pee-pee. There we go. That is finally done. Actually, I can.
Hello, hello? Alright. So let us know if our voices are too loud or too soft, alright? Thank you, everybody. So, this is Option Select. Welcome, fellow Smashers. This is a video series of from our fellow Malaysian players here at OffstageMY to help bring light to the decisions and game plans that could help elevate your competitive edge. Now, on Option Select, we usually do a pretty simple format. We go through 3 different levels into the topics we're going through. Like, so today's topic, we're mainly going to go through recovering in Smash Ultimate. So level 1 is basically understanding your resources when it comes to recovering back to stage. Now, nobody wants to stay off stage, yes, but you need to understand how many options you actually have based on the character you're playing. So we're going to be demonstrating some options of the types of recoveries and what kind of resources you, if you're practicing or you're first picking up your character, what you should remember. So level 2 will be knowing how to mix up your timing, because now you got your resources, what you actually have as your options down. How do you mix up so that the other person just doesn't intercept you every time in the same way, in the same manner? And the last level 3 is the most absolute absurd ways you can just not go back to stage. We're going to show off a little bit of that just as a basic guideline. But again, for those of you who are trying to be the best, you guys need to lab that shit out, all right? Yeah. So for today's episode, we have me. My name's Solo Snivy, and we got
Camping.
Right. Camping is with us today for the 3rd episode of Option Select. It's been a while since you have been on and since the podcast itself has been running.
Yeah, I mean, after all, this is our 3rd episode, right? I was there for the first, but after that, I was kind of busy for a bit, and now that I'm available again, we decided to continue doing this.
Right, so before we begin, let me just show through a little bit. So again, if you guys enjoy the content, enjoy the streams, next week there's a bi-weekly, and we'll actually have news coming up within the next week or 2, and especially at the end of this episode.
Pretty soon.
Yes, so again, stay tuned for that. We will be going through, so like, subscribe, and everything. Follow our pages and our socials. If you want to play with people, join our Discords or our WhatsApps. All right.
Yeah, dude.
So
offline
for
Smash,
level 1.
Alright.
Just understanding your options.
Okay.
Now, let's start with what kind of characters are like the drastic extremes to showcase this. As Shingen would mention, Ganon is like known as one of the characters with the least amount of options off stage when coming back. And then versus the other side, which is probably Steve. Probably Steve is the other side of the extreme of Pac-Man.
You could also say Pac-Man, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be going through a few of the most basic characters and letting you understand what options there are overall, right? So we'll be actually showing through the game itself. All right.
Oh my god, we actually have game footage this time. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is the first time it has game footage. So let me just reset this thing for a bit.
Honestly, going into this, I actually still have no idea how I plan to do it, but I'll just follow your lead, man.
Yeah, I'll just follow my lead. All right. So we're going to go to like a simple... let's see if there's any... I'll just go to timer. All right.
Yeah, just do our usual like 3-stock format.
So
Honestly,
we're
that'd
gonna
be good
go
enough.
for the two most simple stages here.
Yeah, both of them is probably fine. Hello
Right.
there, I am player
So
one.
let's just pick like some of the examples. Again, I think Ganon is one example we can show, and the other one is the most in between for most people. It's probably something like Mario.
Mario's pretty safe, yeah. Oh, give me a sec. I have to hold this mic as I speak. Hello
Yeah,
there.
that is hard. Sorry, I don't have a second stand today.
Poverty gaming, bro. Dude.
All right, so the simple things you need to understand is don't panic first. All right,
Yeah,
if you're sent off stage, don't panic because that is the basic way to win the game. All right, so I'll demonstrate the thing. Every time I explain, maybe you can just demonstrate lah. All right, so the first thing you need to remember that every character has is they can jump. Most characters have 2 jumps. All right, double jump. There are exceptions to the rule, but we'll talk with the basics first. So just like here, Mario has 2 jumps. So let's say you forward smash me off stage, or never mind the item lah. Damn, you're not even close. Just forward smash me. Okay, so here I already used my jump, never mind. Damn, this is scuffed as hell. Okay, so let's say, okay, I forward smash you. But not enough knockback.
Hey man, that's why I was really percent.
So for most characters, you can have 2 jumps, and this one doesn't count out, right? You have a mid-air jump and one from the ground, basically. Some characters like Kirby, Ridley, they have more than 2 jumps, so that is definitely one factor. Okay, I need to change the rules a bit. Damn, this is so well prepared, bro. So well prepared.
We're starting out real strong, boys. No practice, it is all improv, man. It's all improv.
Yeah. But hopefully you can get some little bits of gold here and there, just so that you can, work with what's given.
Right, we are starting from the literal base of things, so I believe this beginning is gonna be quite simple for most people to understand. Right?
Yeah, but surprisingly, a lot of people actually don't remember that most people aren't capable of recovering.
Yeah, actually.
Most
Well,
people
you
are
just have
capable.
to enlighten them with a few things, right? Because most people really do know that jump exists, right? There's this and the double jump.
Yeah, but a lot of them overuse it.
They
when
will always get scared when they jump off stage, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, I am going to die!" Right? I'm gonna
Right. So the first things you need to know is how horizontally how far you can go, and how high you can go. These are the things that you need to remember when it comes to a platform fighter like this. So as we mentioned, most characters have 2 jumps and a recovery move, which is your up B. So in this case, both our up Bs are very similar. It's a slightly diagonal but high-reaching recovery move. There are other moves like Steve who can glide, or maybe those moves that have a trajectory you can control, like Pac-Man, for example, which we will show later.
I think before anything else, I do want to mention that up B is usually the one thing that people don't realize they can do in the air. Because, right, special moves, people think, hey, I can use this to hit my opponent. But they're called special moves for a reason, because they have special uses. And in this case, it's basically universally known that like every up special is used for getting back to the stage. And so every character is designed that way. So there's always something you can do, as long as you're close enough to the stage, depending on the character, right?
Yeah. So another factor you can also like separate is what can help you gain distance either way. Like every move that can help you gain distance is a potential tool for you to recover. The only factor you need to remember is whether they send you to free fall, which is literally where you use an up B and then you're stuck in a helpless animation.
Ganon has 2 moves you can refer to. For example, he has side B, this one, right, and up B. Oh shit! I am doing this with one hand, right? And if you try using them in the air, right, maybe Oscar can talk about it a bit.
Yeah. So let's say okay, I don't have the side B, but up B, a lot of them have a specific good range, either an optimal range or like a fast burst option range as well. Because like here Mario can still reach, and that was very, very far. Both because we have this joke, we call them magnet hands, right? the ledge magnet. You can actually just snap onto ledge. There are also different types of recoveries. For example, they got teleport recoveries as well. There are tether recoveries as well, and glide recovery, which is practically just Steve. But glide recovery, the Steve is the only one with the glide.
I think I can't remember anyone else. I mean, Meta Knight used to have a glide.
Yeah. That was back in the day. All right, and those are the main tools you need to remember when you want to come back to stage, and that is practically level 1, to be honest.
Well, let's just talk about another universal resource real quick before we start with level 1, right?
Air dodger.
Yep. So every character also has directional air dodge in the air, right? So Oscar, if you can actually show it, right? Boop. Yep. So you can actually do this from many different angles, even from high or low, right? Because you can directional air dodge in any way. You can even air dodge up, right? So you can do it for a little extra height if you just don't want to use your up B instead.
Some characters have better air dodges than others as well. Like Jigglypuff and Ness has a very long air dodge. And also wall jumps are also a factor, but considering most stages don't have walls, we won't talk about that yet. That's on the mix-up.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But for characters like Jigglypuff and Ness that Oscar mentioned earlier, it actually is their main method of recovering because, for example, Jigglypuff's up B doesn't actually send her anywhere, and Ness
Yoshi, same thing.
Yoshi also, yeah, not much, but yeah,
Yoshi's air dodge really does help his recovery as well.
Those floatier characters basically, and
then randomly it's Terry, but Terry's air dodge is pretty good.
Oh my god, I actually didn't know that. All right, okay, cool. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, so that is practically level 1, just understanding your resources. Now, there are also caveats to every property. We won't go through every freaking property of every move because some have hitboxes, some don't. Some have a very, very tricky maneuverability like Pikachu or Greninja. Some are very linear let's say, obviously Ganondorf here.
You could say Marth and Lucina, right? They're technically very linear, but very hard to deal with, actually.
Yeah, that's mainly because their speed is just very fast.
Yeah.
That move itself is fast.
So each character has their own recovery move, and it's very unique to each character. And while some characters may share similar moves, they may be using it in different ways depending on how their attributes are. All right. So.
Right. Oh yeah, another factor that might understand. Obviously, if you play enough of the game, airspeed does help.
Yep.
Right. But we don't talk about that one. That's not part of your tools. That's just part of the physics of the character.
For now, we'll just stick with what we have in terms of moves, right? And let's just summarize it real quick, right? You have jump.
Most characters have 2 jumps.
Yeah, and some characters may have more, so remember to check. Some characters, every character also has an up special, or as we call it, up B, right? So
a recovery move that usually goes upwards, right?
And some other characters may have certain special moves that send them in different directions. So experiment with your character and see what you can do to get back to stage.
Alright, let's also show a little bit on the more trickier recovery. So you can pick Greninja, and I'll go with something like Miss Steve, I guess. Steve is the extreme example, which we're gonna use for we try not to go random.
Oh right, I forgot.
Because Steve has blocks. That's a whole different thing. So you find your Greninja.
Alright. I guess I'll do my normal thing here.
Yeah. Because this can lead into level 2 as well. We just show a little bit of the different. Just now we show you the straightforward recovery, which is 2 jumps and a recovery move. So let's say here we got minecart as well. We also have blocks, which is just cheating, and also a glide, which is also cheating.
I guess.
Showcase your one.
Alright, give me a sec.
Yeah. So Greninja's case, just like Pikachu, he has a stalling move, which is side B. He also has an up B that can give him 2 directions consecutively. So Pikachu is similar. Not every character has something like this, but let's say Ness is a special case where he needs to hit himself to the direction, or there are some that are even crazier, which is like Pac-Man, who has a similar directional type of recovery with his side B, and then a far-reaching up B, which is why his recovery is generally very, very good. Alright, so talking about that, I think I'll let you demonstrate the mix-up timing. So let's say, right, you go to the centers first. most cases you want to press your advantage. If the person that sent you off stage usually wants to keep you on off stage, or to quickly kill you. So in, like, let's say in Steve's case, he could like down tilt, he could down smash, he could even just freaking block you. You want to avoid that. So how do you do that? Now, after you understand your tool sets, the thing you can do is level 2, mix it up. Don't let them catch on to patterns, because in fighting games, patterns are what get you killed most cases, right? Because again, being too obvious is recognizable. So let's say if you guys have seen any of Cam's gameplay, he loves to mix up his timings. He mix up his reversal timings when he's either being pressured or the one pressuring. So let's say here I just want to block him. Right now, obviously that's not really possible. Okay, he can still snap to ledge. But what can I do here? Most players will probably start with down tilt, right? It's literally the most simple. Oh, I can catch you from the corner. But then, if I fail, then oh shit, he's gonna be winning advantage, or like I'm gonna be in trouble next. So the things that he can do to mix it up is, as we mentioned, side B, potentially counter. That's just one option. And then there's definitely up B, which because of its multi-directional property, it's very hard to catch unless unless he recovers the same way every time. So when it comes to mixing up timing, you can mix it up. Position, you can mix it up. And obviously which move and which order comes out, you can mix it up. Those are the main 3 things that I would say. Do you have anything to add to this?
I think the first thing that you should recognize is the purpose of these mix-ups, right? Adding on to what you said, right? The main reason why people mix up their recoveries in the first place is to prevent opponents from catching on to their recovery patterns and meeting them like on the way, For example, if let's say I just do this one trajectory, right? You can practice against that trajectory, see if you can eventually try and hit it. All right? You see how, like, because he already roughly knows what I'm gonna do, right? He can just, time it properly, do the same down tilt over and over again, rinse and repeat, and I'm just gonna keep taking damage. But now, I'm gonna try it again. Simple enough, I'm actually just gonna change the way I do that same move. Just by changing the trajectory, just like that, I am able to change the timing in which I actually grab the ledge, and now his down tilt timing is thrown off.
Yes.
Right. So that's an example of a timing mix-up, but that's not the only timing mix-up, right? Because there are plenty of ways, or like, how's that? You don't always have to do your up special immediately. Sometimes you can just wait a little bit before you actually do it. Because most characters, you're usually doing their recovery not at their limit. So what I mean is, when I was doing Greninja's recovery, I could actually go lower if I really wanted to, right? And that's another form of delay that you have to worry about.
All right. Knowing where in the air you have to actually push is also another mix-up.
So that's when knowing your limit with your character really helps out, because it also helps you with how much you can delay your recovery.
And in that sense, you can generally, after a lot of play on like a similar stage, you can kind of get the gist. Like, let's say if I give my own example, Incineroar on Smash 2, I can actually go past the screen and I still come back with just up B. But most stages, because the blast zones are quite wide, I will definitely not come back if I touch the, if the edge of the screen. That's just one thing about your limits. Just, practice a little more and you can notice those things.
Just a little bit more extra, right? It's not just delaying your timings that it helps. Doing it earlier also helps quite a bit. The main thing is you want to avoid that. You want to avoid the timing that you normally do, or at least try not to have a pattern for how you do your recoveries, right? So instead of
you want to show Pac-Man next?
Show Pac-Man.
I kind of want to just pull up Vulo King K. Rool for this guy.
Actually, I want to use Little Mike.
Ah, Little Mike, nice.
I think it would be better to showcase the whole timing mix-up thing, right?
Maybe I forgot already. Oh yeah, K. Rool, right?
K. Rool, alright. K. Rool just goes all the way at the bottom, right? While Little Mac's like he has to think really carefully about like his recovery. So I think it's a good way to show like how your timing mix-ups can really save your butt, especially in the case of Little Mac. Okay, so how do we want to do this?
All right. What are you planning to show?
Honestly, just send me off stage and try and hit me. Oh my god, wait, I need to grab the controller. Give me a sec.
All right.
No way I'm making it back with that, right? It's just like the same old thing. But I could delay my side B if you went for that fair, right? So that instead of like being at that area when you fared, I could hit you for doing that fair.
You can do either an early side B or a late side B.
Yeah,
as
something
well.
like that, yeah.
You don't have to close it every time, you know. There's not enough sound here.
I don't play this character. Wait, give me a sec.
Alright, okay, one more try. So how I'll try to intercept you.
This time, I guess that is how's it? The other thing I wanted to show, right? If your character has limited timing mix-ups, right? There's another thing you can do. There's changing the order in which you do your moves, and that also changes your trajectory in which you move, right?
Yes.
Wait, if I did my side B first, then I'll go horizontal, and then I have to go up. But if I jump first, then I go up, and then I can do a side B. And basically, I'll be in a different position, right? So if you try and aim at the original spot, you would think I'll be. I just wouldn't be there anymore, right?
So just now, as you might notice, I actually challenged him just similarly to the first time, which I'm going a slightly lower forward air, which in this case is actually still hit. And see, the air dodge actually helped. Little Mac is probably most known as the character with the shortest amount of distance when it comes to his recovery attacks.
I'm going to die.
Yeah. And on the other side, you can see, let me show you with King Kiru as well. He is a character with a very, very straightforward recovery move, but it can go very far. And surprisingly speaking, as Zebra Boy has shown, it is quite difficult to intercept for most characters unless you know what you're doing. So let's say I can go all the way here and still come back. Most characters can't really do that, you know. And also there's a hitbox above me which can directly challenge anybody who's just trying to brain dead, try to intercept me with like a tilt or something, you know. No. Maybe now. Oh, you made it back. See, the thing is that recovery is a very, very complex topic that it's just like any martial art needs to be slowly developed. How you can live longer is very important as well.
It's one of those things where it's like a lot harder to show in a vacuum because you don't. One, training mode sucks, and two, you can't just pause the situation, right?
True.
When you're off stage, you're constantly falling, and therefore you can't really showcase what you can do in that position as easily, right? Showing it is hard, man. Goofy ass K-Rool, holy shit.
So like, let's say K-Rool is actually a pretty simple character when it comes to his recovery. His side B doesn't actually do anything for distance, but it does let him like throw out a hitbox, which is a mix-up as well. Throwing out attacks that are disjointed is safer than, you know, just throwing out a back air, obviously. But you know, that's what Zebra Boy loves doing.
That's also another thing you should point out. He can sort of stall with his recovery with up air, actually. So some characters have this move where they actually go up with their normal attacks, and it's very rare. Actually,
Like Pac-Man does that.
Pac-Man and K-Rool are the two examples off the top of my head, right? But that's just another tool in their arsenal to make it harder for opponents to like hit them where they think they'll be at, right? Yeah. And all right, considering we've shown timing mix-up, we've shown timing mix-up, we've shown just doing moves differently, right? I think there's one more thing I'd like to show, and that's don't always recover back to the ledge. And this is important if the person has been ledge trapping you real hard at the ledge, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't think Little Mac's the best one to show this. His distance isn't that far.
Yeah, but I could ledge trap you. Actually, no, you. Some characters are better than this at others, but like, sometimes it's just better to just go onto the stage than like go to the ledge.
I think that's the factor of positioning as well.
Yes.
Like if the opponent is very conditioned to intercept you low, then go high. You know, if he committed to the low because he like this guy's gonna go low, bro. He's gonna go low.
Oh my god.
And then so you just throw out a high recovery and it's like, oh shit, I'm in a disadvantage now instead. Potentially, right? You should do it like Sakurai, man. Put it on the table and
I am not that kind of guy. I am just not built like him, man.
you're like feet.
Oh,
Put it on your legs.
Jesus. I'm not that pro, man. I'm just a little frog. Okay, so I guess I can definitely show it this, right? So I'm gonna do a few angles, right? You can just try to intercept me once again, but this time I'll be focusing on my positioning when I finish my move.
All right. See, he overshot me. He went past me.
Just sometimes just deciding to go onto the stage immediately lets you go through people that are so focused on the ledge. So it really makes them have to change their positioning in order to account for this, right? And yeah, it's just another one of those things where like never let them know your next move, you know?
Yeah. So let's say even me, right? I could early timing this, but it's really better when I am shot really high. It's because like if I hit the ground, the amount of like lag is very strong. But it is an option.
Yeah.
And if you understand the how the patterns have been shown by your opponent, you can mix it up.
I think it's important to note that like landing on stage with your recoveries tends to leave you in a pretty vulnerable situation. So understand that while this is an option, this is more like something you do as a mix-up than something you rely on most of the time.
Yeah, don't make it don't make it a pattern.
Yeah, because unlike the ledge where you actually get invincibility when you grab onto it, right? When you go on stage, you're closer to your opponent and you are landing with lag, and it's just not a great time. So you do it when the opponent is not expecting you to go back to the ledge. I mean, to go back to stage, right? And therefore you can actually slip past their defenses because they're so focused on like trying to keep you at that one particular corner and guessing whatever options you might want to do, right? Just skip that entirely. Sometimes it's sometimes worth it, man. And once again, character dependent, right? K. Rool, he is not gonna land on the stage without a B so easily.
Now, one thing we want to distinguish today, we're not gonna talk about ledge trapping, the things that happen after you reach the ledge, or the things that happen after you reach the stage. That is a separate topic, and that is its own complex topic. Smash is a very complex game.
Oh my god, ledge
But the
trapping
fact
is
is,
a topic in itself, man.
yeah. Ledge trapping is a whole topic. Edge guarding is a whole topic, and we're not gonna talk about that as well. We're gonna go simple today about recovering and how to live longer. That's the whole point. Because Smash is a unique game where just because you're a high percent doesn't mean you die, right? Not like a fighting game where as long as the HP is 0, it's done, right? Boop, boop. No, try to send me off stage and I'll try to recover.
All right.
You can put the mic down as well.
Oh my god.
I'm just basically gonna stay at the ledge for as long as possible.
Oh my god.
Like if you can send me off stage, I will be forced to pick it. Now another thing you guys can remember is the ledge actually only has invincibility for as long as like you are intercepted, you are attacked, or it's the first time you grab ledge after touching the floor. You know, so that is also one factor that makes Steve kind of broken, because he can practically refresh invincibility quite a bit. See there's also a mix-up. See, that's how you also edge guard as well. Now, because I only have a very limited angle, it's either I go horizontal and then vertically straight, or I go with a high recovery, which again, give or take, right? But I already committed to the low option, so all Cam needs to do, because he has better offstage presence, I guess. That's what you can call it.
Not all characters are made equal. That's all I can
Yeah,
say.
not everybody's blessed with all the moves they can do, all the
Yeah.
time you can have in the world. That's why if you guys are like very, very unsure about recovering, just get better at sending the opponent off stage. You know.
Yeah, sure, we can go with that.
Yeah.
But
But it is very important to learn how to be able to live longer, because you want to be able to, turn things around.
make the most out of your stock. Basically, you want to be able to do as much as you can with what you have, right? And if you just don't lose the stock, that's kind of good,
Yeah, like Keru living to 200% consistently.
Oh my god, dude. Freaking heavies are cringe. Anyways, okay, there we go.
All right, this time it's my turn.
Alright.
We'll just do this sequence where I try to keep him at the ledge or off the stage. See, that is one thing you can do. Come back with a move that's very hard to understand when he's gonna hit, where he's gonna hit. And I think that was a regrab, right?
That was a regrab.
Yeah, if you regrab the ledge, your invincibility is practically gone until I either like make contact with you or you reach the ground. So that's also one thing you guys need to remember. Standing on the other side. So recovering and edge guarding is literally just two sides of the same coin. The opponent who's in advantage will be edge guarding, and the one who is stuck off stage will be the one recovering. So again, fighting games are pretty much a balance of both sides, and in Smash specifically, where there is an off-stage presence, that is very, very much a thing you have to practice to stay alive for longer, Now he's just flexing.
I'm just trying to show all the different things I just said,
Sure, let's keep going. So high recovery.
Oh shit,
Libra Boy was watching while coming the whole time. I can't believe it. See, that's another thing that might happen. Every character has this funny properties that you guys probably have to remember as well. Basically, just be adaptable when recovering. That's also very important. Zebra Boy, you want to demonstrate some? You don't even have to talk. Cam can actually be explaining. See, it's very, very hard to catch an opponent with a lot of options. Bam.
Alright, the last few parts there technically aren't really edge guarding, but it's not edge guarding, I mean recovering. But at this point, I think you guys get the point.
Okay, let's put this down and summarize the first 2 points before we go on to the last one.
I think it's better that way. It's actually really hard to to keep all this in a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
Because
usually it requires editing. Live is kind of hard to truly explain it
yeah.
with a concise way.
If anything, we could try and play a game once we're all done with this, right? And then we have to see edge guarding scenarios and see how it really fares out, right?
Yes, so let's talk about from the top again. So number one, no matter what character you pick, because the character selection screen is massive, understand your options that can help you recover. Most characters have 2 jumps, and most characters have an up B that goes upwards. Now the factor is either they have a hitbox, they don't have a hitbox, how far they can go, how long they can stay off stage.
What is their trajectory?
Yes, and also maybe air dodge can be another mix-up.
Does it put them into free fall? There is a lot
Yeah,
of
Smash
things
is
to consider.
complex. Smash is very complex. And let's say like a character like Link, extra technical. If you can use bomb recoveries, which is a technique for Links or Snakes, you can extend your recovery range even further.
Yeah. So,
And actually we haven't really showed tether recoveries. Not to say we have to, but tether recoveries are also their own whole entire thing.
Yeah, and in this case, they're not even using special moves. They're using a special tether, because they have
basically using
tether
a
grabs,
grab.
right? Yeah, they're
Yeah.
using a grab to reach the ledge.
So characters like that, characters like that are similar, like Zero Suit with her Zair, Joker with his up B, Byleth with his up B.
Young Link and
Yeah,
Toon
those
Link.
those who have a tether grab can probably do that Lucas can also do that. So
Yep.
you know, let's show that as well. We actually haven't shown that.
Yeah, sure, why not? Joker's one isn't a tether grab. Oh wait, no, it is, but it's a special move, right?
Yeah, but
Compared
it's a
to
tether recovery.
yeah, that's close enough. Yeah, true.
Yeah, we're talking about recovery. It's not grabs itself. We should show that side. This side got chat. Left side got chat.
I suck with tether.
Okay, I can show it like this. So this is a tether recovery, right? So tether recovery, you can actually go about. Okay, that one I held down for some reason. So this is a tether recovery. Basically, these moves have a unique property. You can actually grab the ledge from further away, keeping you a little bit more, letting you have a little more distance before reaching the ledge and having invulnerability. But the risk here comes with the fact that before you actually grab the ledge, you don't have invulnerability. So if your opponent is good enough, they can actually intercept your recovery like that. But the distance that you can recover and how fast you can be, there's practically most cases no actual distance when you like grab the ledge with your tether and then snap into it, because you can actually control that speed as well. Because like let's say I use Joker, if I just mash the B button, I just snap right into it. But if I decided I just wanted to hang for a bit, why not? You can. So this is a very unique factor of tether recoveries as well. And can you hit me until my Arsene comes out? So with Joker, he's a special case. Some characters have a similar thing where they have multiple like ways to recover. In this case, Joker literally becomes a different up B, where some up Bs have invulnerability at the starting frames and they go really far. This is the type where they don't really have a hitbox at the top. In this case, Joker literally doesn't have any, but he can go really far. But it's also a circumstantial type of recovery move because he doesn't have it all the time. Tether is probably the more common option you can find. And the last type of up B that we can say is teleport recoveries. Teleport recoveries have their own whole category of factors you need to be careful of. For one, some stages might hurt the recovery for like as a whole. So let's say like if your locals have Unova Pokemon League legal, well, you gotta be worried about that.
Nowadays, that's not really legal, but hey, you know, just keep in mind.
Yo, where's my character in the thumbnail?
Well, if you just sit down here and demonstrate, you don't even have to speak. You know.
Zero Boy invading the podcast. Hello there, Zero Boy. Haven't
Alright.
seen you in a while.
So I'll show a character with multiple jumps, and you show the character with the teleport recovery.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think we can cover every recovery in this video, but honestly, we
Yeah,
don't
but
have to.
we're covering categories, so it's
Some,
fine.
yeah.
It's
We'll
fine.
probably miss out something still, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
So like Kirby has 5 jumps and a decent air dodge, right? So I can pretty much stay off stage for as long as I can, and knowing that limit is actually going to help you. For teleport recoveries, they have a very, very good property, which is pretty much intangibility between their appearance and their disappearance. But they have a flaw, which is they usually snap to ledge in a unique way that you can actually intercept, which is being able to be 2-frame. So if you have a fast enough down tilt, for example, you can actually 2-frame them for recovery. Another thing about teleport recoveries that you could probably do is high recoveries. If you are accurate, you can do ledge slips, which will basically release you from the end lag, practically speaking, release you from the end lag of the up B faster than usual. In this case, there's literally no platform. Okay, you haven't practiced that, so it's fine. Okay, so to demonstrate, level 2 is we'll play a game, and basically every time we do some, like we will summarize the recovery details later. So obviously the goal of the game is to send people off the stage into the blast zone as soon as possible. And see, that's one thing that he can do to me that I have to be wary of, right? He can blow wind, which Roars has done before in tournament as well. And if you're... Yeah, wind boxes is not part of the recovery itself. But that's just something you have to be worried about when recovering, as the person recovering. right? So send him off stage, try to keep him in the ledge or as long as possible. So there, if I was more optimal, I would directly just snap to ledge, but I actually overshot and landed onto the stage, which got me punished. So you can also see that this is where the physics of your character can really affect how you recover. Because it is very hard for me to recover because of my slow overall speed, and my options aren't the best. They're very linear. Your ledge slips cost you.
Look, man.
I hear you can demonstrate ledge
Oh
slips.
yeah,
a little bit more.
I could definitely, yeah, the ledge cancels, right?
Try it again. Yeah, see, usually they can't do it that fast after recovering, but with this special technique, if you can practice it, ooh, you can mix up the timings. Even though you might be keeping yourself on the platform or on the ledge, you can have a very interesting like game with that. Teleport recoveries are generally also very far, so you have to be wary. If you want to punish it as the person edge guarding as well, it's gonna be quite difficult. You have to give, practice a little.
Oh my god, I didn't know.
So teleport recoveries actually have a very good advantage overall in terms of like simplifying the recovery process itself. But again, don't get too predictable. That's all we can say, to be honest, for most characters, because the more predictable you are, the easier you're gonna get punished.
The best way to show like the weakness of teleport recoveries is actually just like trying to two-frame them at ledge. That is their main weakness, right? If you try to teleport onto the stage, they're usually relatively laggy. And if you have to go to ledge every time, then people who can two-frame others very well eat very nicely against these characters.
Yes, you can't let them cook, bro. Can't
Yeah.
let them cook.
The teleports always have a start and an end that's consistently timed, right? Like if you see the start, the end's always gonna happen at that like specific time. So that usually helps people to time their two frames against these recoveries.
Another thing you guys can also notice, again, now we're gonna talk a little bit about the physics of each character. Obviously, some characters have better air speed, better air acceleration, and obviously the distance they can recover. So as you might notice
Jump height too.
Yes, and as you might notice when Palutena was actually pressuring Kirby here to recover, the big problem is that in the air, Kirby is slow, and his recovery distance direction-wise is very linear. So it's also very easy to overall intercept unless the Kirby is playing way better than others, right? If I overshoot the ledge by a bit, well, you can punish me. If I'm too slow to make a choice, you can intercept me off stage as well.
I think one thing you should really note that is that Kirby, while has less options in terms of its own speed, Kirby does have more options in terms of jumps, number of jumps, the air dodges, right? So what this lets Kirby do, right, is he has to approach how he recovers differently from how Palutena does, right? Because
Yes.
Palutena just has that one move that helps her recover, while Kirby has actually a lot of options. However, Palutena does have many angles due to her general air mobility and how flexible that recovery is, but Kirby is more on the number of options, right? The more mix-ups you can do with the different moves, the jumps that you
Yes.
have, right, the better your recovery game will be.
Yeah. And also, you guys also need to remember to practice your fall speeds. Fall speeds are also your one way you can try to mix things up.
Yep. I think in general, like, just practice with your character. Each character approaches recovery is quite differently, and just like understanding how to mix up with them, whether it be with the way you move or with the number of moves you can use. It really changes up how you can move off stage, and suddenly, right, being off stage isn't so much of a worry anymore as it is for a lot of competitive players.
Yeah. So obviously understand what makes your recovery abusable. That is where we're gonna lead into level 3. But before we move on into level 3, we're gonna take a quick break. Just about a 5-minute break. So hopefully you guys are enjoying, and stay tuned. We're gonna be back in just a bit. Alright, so I guess we're back. A little sooner than we don't need that long of a break.
I just
But-
need to drink some water, dude. Stay hydrated, homies.
Yes. So we're gonna be showing you guys level 3 is all about how once you already understand how to mix up your timing, once you understand all your options, what's left is to abuse it as hard as possible so you don't lose. Alright? You can just win. And as we have seen, Pac-Man, Sora, Steve, many characters in this game have broken options. Don't know why, but they have a lot of broken options.
Just
off
say
stage.
it. Just say it's their specialty, all right?
Yeah, so we'll try to demonstrate some of them, and can let you see the potential if you are a main of these characters, how far you can make your opponent just don't like you. All right.
I think we can start off by showing just how far these characters can go, right?
Yes. How far distance-wise
Yeah.
can they come back from?
And I think that's a good way to let people understand that, like, in order to take advantage of your recoveries, you first need to know just how far you can actually go without dying, right? And you can see for Pac-Man's case, he can literally be off the screen and still make it back. Like, look at that!
I've been
That's-
off stage for like more than 15 seconds.
Alright, it's my turn. Give me a sec.
So Sora's whole thing is that his up B can connect into his side B. So if you understand that, oh boy, his recovery can go real far. And the interesting thing is that his recovery, concept-wise, is very similar to Bayonetta. But execution-wise, Sora is way easier. He has a floaty jump. He has a floaty double jump. He has a very consistent up B, very simple to input as well. And he has a three hit move, which is Sonic Blade, right? his side B connects right after his up B, and can give him a lot of distance. You just show Sonic Blade on stage. I think it's practically more than half the stage. Yeah, he reshoot the whole entire stage with Sonic Blade alone. And the fact that you can control it practically 360 angle, or maybe like 8 directions. Oh, imagine the timing mix-ups and how far you can go, where you can go, high recovery, low recovery, who gives a shit, right? Same thing can go for Pac-Man. You can actually stall a little bit, all the way at the bottom of the stage, and I still make it back safe. Like, I can be all the way here. And still make it back. This is how disgusting these characters are. But you know what? If you're good with this, it could be a factor to why you're winning, you know? You can. Just know. And again, if you guys know more deeper tech offensive wise, you can definitely get a reversal very easily because you can stay off stage. If they try to challenge you, for them it's way riskier than you if you were challenging them, right? Yeah, again, because you can afford to be off stage and still be powerful overall.
Yeah. I think one of the main benefits of I think actually these two characters are strong in their recoveries, but they can use their one I would say would be more offensive in their usage, while one's a bit more defensive. I don't know. I just kind of realized.
Which one's the offensive
So
one?
okay, Sora, most of his recovery is based on his like aerial movement, right? Because he has floaty jump and he has good recoveries. What this lets him do, right, is he can throw a lot of attacks off stage. Never mind, Pac-Man can do the same thing.
Yeah, again.
But
I think on that factor, right, when you mention like that, the thing is that Sora's whole long distance recovery is more committed than Pac-Man. Why? Because like if after up B you have to press Sonic Blade to go further, right? Because if you don't press Sonic Blade, you go to free fall, right?
I think saying committal is a bit of like how to say. I wouldn't want to use that word, right? Because I don't have to do it if I'm already close enough, right? I can also say
to do it.
yeah, but I can also say that Pac-Man's up B is committal because if he does it too far, right, then someone can jump on and steal the third jump and suddenly
Well,
Pac-Man
what's
just
the
dies.
better word in this case?
I just think there are just different quirks with each recovery, so they're character specific. So the way you deal with these recoveries are all different based on the scenario, right? And in this case, Sora has different scenarios than Pac-Man, where his recovery is better or worse, right? Sora doesn't have a freaking armored side B like Pac-Man does. I can just like ignore some stuff, but Sora does have a pretty floaty double jump that lets him sort of stay off stage for a very long time, while Pac-Man, right, after he uses his double jump, he can stall a little bit, but he has to commit to his special sooner, right?
I wonder if Pac-Man has a wall jump.
Oh
Okay,
my
he
god,
does.
why does he have a wall jump?
Okay,
Oh
so
my
that's one
God.
thing we actually didn't show earlier, is that some characters like Little Mac has a decent wall jump and a decent air dodge, which on a stage like Kalos or Yoshi's, god dang, the recovery is improved by quite a bit. Even though air-wise, Little Mac is still trash,
Yeah.
but as long as he's sticking to the wall, he has a way better recovery than he
Yeah.
used to.
Yeah, at least distance-wise, right? So, that's just another factor on how far you can push your recoveries. That's just another thing. And some, actually, if you would permit me to go back to character select, there are also other factors that let people, let characters go further and further off stage.
Like what?
Some need to hit. If you think about it. Alright, so example here, I am going to show, I can honestly choose any stage. I'm gonna pick PS2 because PS2 might be leveled. Alright, so I'm sure you'll understand once you see it.
Oh, okay. Up B is the factor here.
Right. So, going far isn't always just knowing how to use all your moves to avoid your opponent. Sometimes some characters want to hit their opponent with it. So in Falcon's case, his up B, right, is a command grab, and if it hits, he basically sort of resets himself, right? He can do it again.
Yeah. Some characters actually don't have that option as well, so you gotta just be wary. Where if some characters make contact, they're basically get a refresh. The move gets a refresh. So the interesting thing with Falcon is that Falcon's up B along with Ganon is a command grab, right? So if you manage to grab the opponent out of the air, you actually get another chance to recover. In a sense, extend the distance that you can recover. But if you have to be wary that if your opponent is good at attacking, if you're close to the ledge, they can directly intercept you after that.
Yeah, it's definitely a risk in some scenarios, but understand that like because it resets your options, right? You at least aren't helpless.
I mean, I think mine. Okay, I cannot hit you, but Snake's recovery is very, very unique as well. It literally is like as open as it gets, but you can actually attack out of it, and it goes really far. But you know, it's just a weird recovery overall.
You know how to do C4 recoveries? There we go.
Yeah, but that one's not high enough percent lah, right?
Yeah, but at least you can reset your up B that way as well.
It went down.
Oop. Yeah.
So like let's say if I was a very high percent, you can hit me into like 80% or something. Alright. So in this case, if I'm good enough. Oh, that one. Okay, I need to DI properly for that one. It actually just doesn't let me. It has to be under the stage, I guess. Never mind. This is not the stage to show that.
Where,
I think it's either show on Battlefield or Final Destination.
Also, you're not a snake expert, so it's understandable. It's okay. We don't actually have to show it.
So basically, you can wall. You can tag the wall if somebody is smart enough to hit you into the wall, right? In most cases, if you're not wary of that, that can actually shorten your recovery time as well. It will just kill you. So that is one thing you have to remember, as well as one thing you have to be wary of when recovering. But uniquely, Link and Snake can utilize that to recover better.
Banjo as well.
Yeah, but Banjo's one.
No, Banjo is unlimited as well. He can actually use his I forgot what it's called, the down B that lays a
It
grenade.
does work, yeah.
Yeah, that
but
works.
I think that one is way tighter because that one is not self-detonating. That one is timed, or like you make contact.
Okay, so Link's one is the only one that's purely self-detonating. Actually, Snake does have self-detonating ways to get back, but he usually also has grenades. So timer ways to get back.
He has
right?
two options.
Yeah.
Basically.
Some of the other two Links, right, Young Link and Toon Link, also have this option, and Banjo also has this option. Right?
Basically, anyone with a time grenade type of mechanic.
Come on. Yeah. So yeah, there's just plenty of recovery options, and just seeing how far you can go with these techniques will really push your recovery game out further.
Yeah, and I basically think that's pretty much it. We're pretty much done for the demonstration.
Yeah, let's just wrap this up.
So let's just discuss the summary. So hopefully after watching this demonstration, you guys can understand a little bit more on recovering. If you guys have friends who are starting playing Smash or just play Smash casually with you, you could show them this discussion to maybe open up their minds to the potential of how they can last longer in game.
Let's do a quick summary then, right? I know we summarized parts 1 and 2 earlier, but let's just do it overall, right? So that people, come in.
Right, your turn to do the summary. I did it twice.
All right, sure. All right. So, part 1, recognize your resources. Each character, most of them have jumps, usually 2, right? And everyone has an up B that they can use to recover, with very few exceptions. Just assume that everyone has an up B, right? And not only that, they also have air dodge as a universal option for getting back. but some characters have more than one special that they can use.
To recover, yes.
Yep. Not only that, some characters also have moves that kind of move them in different ways that aren't just specials, like K. Rool's up there, right?
And Pac-Man maybe, yeah.
So recognize what moves you have at your disposal and use them in various ways in order to get back to stage in different scenarios, right? And that's where we come to part 2. You can't just recover the same way all the time. Once you start doing the same thing over and over again, people are going to catch on. And when people catch on, what are you going to do about that? Well, we have a few things, right? We have timing mix-ups. We just have to maybe reach the ledge just a little later than usual or a little earlier than usual. 2, we can also do, what do you call it? You can choose a few different moves to like order them in different ways, I guess you can say that, right?
The sequential mix-up.
Yep, exactly, right? So
And
instead
also
of
maybe positional mix-up is also one way.
Yep. So not only are you just gonna do the same upbeat, the same that plays all the time, you could jump first before you do that, although it's not necessarily recommended.
Jump is a resource that is pretty precious.
Yeah.
If you get intercepted when you trying to jump back, oh.
Yeah. So I know we didn't really touch on it while during our recovery, but it's actually one of the more important things that I realized we missed out. Save your jumps, boys. Save your jumps.
Basically, and also you guys need to understand like the patterns of how your opponent is catching on. So then you mix it up.
Yep.
Not every option mix up is best, but it's plan B, plan C.
Yep.
Practically speaking.
And yes, back to the whole positional things, right? Don't always have to go back to the same location. Sometimes you can aim your recovery towards the ledge. Sometimes you can aim it towards the stage itself. Sometimes you can recover on a platform. Let's say Kalos platforms are actually pretty safe to land on, right? Sometimes you can hit the
Town and
stage,
city is also an option.
and also like you can hit the stage, so you can ride on it, so you also reach it a little later. So
what you
there's
call it,
just-
hit the stage.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Greninja has that, so we usually call it head bonking.
Oh, you mean like something like, let's say Ness can upbeat into the stage,
Yeah.
so you can do it again one
Yeah,
more time.
That's one thing you can do, but you also like for other characters, it just slows down how soon they reach the stage.
Basically climbing the wall. Like.
Yeah, sort of like that, right? So it serves two purposes. One, timing mix
Or
up.
riding the wall, that's what they
Yeah.
call it. Like let's say Fox can do the same thing as well.
Yep. So it serves two purposes. One, timing mix up. You don't reach the ledge at the same time you normally do. And 2, your position is also like, you know, you're
Yeah, it
not
shifts
aiming
it
for
a
the
little
same
bit
position.
into the
Yeah.
stage so that your hurt box doesn't. Well, if the opponent is very
Yeah, if they're
attuned
off
to
stage, right, trying to hit you, right?
yeah, you can just that little bit of advantage might help.
Yep. All right. Okay, and finally, when it comes to part 3, right, actually that whole part is very, very loose. It's mostly just to show that like everyone has different options.
That segment was just a concept segment, bro.
Yeah, and no, it really is please let your character mention, because please let your characters, they may be able to do more than you think they can do.
There's 2 recommendations we can say lah, right? Watch more clips of your character being played by top players so that you can see what is possible.
Never forget that Shuton down at a Pikmin to recover.
Yeah. And every matchup has unique ways for you to might do. Like as he mentioned, Shuton as a Richter. Down airs a Pikmin that lets him reset his position a little bit better. Again, that's nuts. And that's cool too. If you can do it, you know.
Bro is cracked it. Anyways, lab your characters, learn what they can do, and trust me, your offstage game will get a lot better after that. Unless you know you're a little Mac. Just know that like, if you do know the potential of your character offstage, you also do know how much they should be going offstage, right? And I think that's very important to recognize, because as much as we've been talking about recovering and like going off stage, not everyone wants to do that. Clearly, Little Mike, for example, just doesn't want to.
Yeah. So that is only one factor of what makes this game complex and what can, get you the game. All right.
Honestly, dude, like, there's probably some things we said wrong throughout this entire time, and I'm willing to bet that like some people will come and correct us if they ever listen to it. But that's why we started doing this, right? A good exchange of opinions to figure out more and more about the game and figure out more about the mentality of playing this game. Just the offstage game is actually quite mysterious if you think about it. There's like, unlike neutral, there's not many topics breaking it down, right? Because
It's
when it comes,
it's at the same time very, very. It's so complex that you can say a lot, but it's also so simple in like what it actually is
Yeah, you just
that
kind
you
of
have to just do it. You know.
yeah. So it really does come down to feel for some people, and I know for some others they prefer to see in a more option-based light, right? But honestly, look at it however you want. For now, as long as you are able to go off stage and do funny things, that's great. You know, just go out and just go off stage and friendlies, kill yourself. It's okay.
No, basically, when you're playing friendlies, try to test everything you can try. You know, every limit you have, just try it out. Nothing's really at stake. You're not losing cash unless you're money matching. You're not losing you're not losing cloud. You're not losing some fucking GSP. It's fine.
Bro,
you know.
someone's gonna take that whole quote out of context, and I am going to disappear from reality.
You give me the suggestion, I'm gonna clip it now.
Thanks, Oscar.
But yes, I think that's pretty much it for the topic of recoveries. Now, time for the small announcements. Not too much detail. Alright, so after this stream, later tonight, I'm gonna be releasing the latest click compilation of our past bi-weekly number 22 by Offstage. And we're gonna have another bi-weekly next week. So again, if you guys are willing to get some practice down, get some practice down. Cause the second big news, I'm gonna announce the actual event itself, but we have confirmed our upcoming major.
Yeah.
64-man tournament.
So
Now the details, time and everything not confirmed. But just know we have something to build towards in the next 2 months.
yeah.
All the content, all the tournaments, all the storylines and everything will be building up to that major, which is happening at the end of December.
I have to make. I still don't know how I'm gonna do the PR, dude.
That's where we as Offstage will have to really discuss after this. But just know, this is gonna be ending this year's public ranking season. All right, pretty much we do it yearly at this point.
Yeah.
And this major will mark the final major tournament of the year. And if you want to be the top 10 ranked players in Malaysia, you have to show up in the next 3. I assume there are going to be at least 3 bi-weeklies. At the most 3 bi-weeklies and 1 major after this.
Yeah.
And 3 option selects where we'll be going through topics that are leading up to tournaments. Like for example, I was considering doing about tournament etiquettes and stuff you guys have to have routine wise. So like let's say prepping your gear, don't need to listen to TOs and stuff like that, and other things that like stage striking or other rule set discussions that I think will be very important for you guys to do your best and perform as well as you can in the next major. All right.
I'm just here to talk anything. So if this guy brings me back into any future option selects, yeah, that you know, I'll just speak my mind, and hopefully people are cool with that. You know?
Just know the content grind for the next 6 weeks will be pretty consistent. So
Thanks, my
make
man.
sure to like, subscribe, and follow all our socials. All right, we love to see you all here at Couchcade, at Banasan Way every single time we have tournaments or just weekly gatherings as well. So again, I really hope we can see more people, and if this major goes well, y'all will be eating good. All right, y'all be eating good because I'm gonna work my ass off to pull out all the content.
And trust me, he's actually working super hard. I don't know how he does it, but he's nuts, dude. He's nuts.
Right.
Alright.
So again, this is Option Select by Offstage Malaysia. My name is Solo Snivy.
And my name, Camping.
So we will see you next week for the bi-weekly and maybe 2 weeks later for the next episode of Option Select.